What do we mean when we say God opened a door? Well, in today's text, to the letter to Philadelphia, Jesus talks about himself as having the keys that can open and shut any door, but I think it gives it to us with a bit of a twist. What does it really mean for Jesus to open a door for us as we try to follow him and pursue life with God in the world? Revelation 3, 7-13. Write this to the angel of the church in Philadelphia. These are the words of the one who is holy and true, who has the key of David. Whatever he opens, no one will shut, and whatever he shuts, no one will open. I know your works. Look, I have set in front of you an open door that no one can shut. You have so little power, and yet you have kept my word and haven't denied my name. Because of this, I will make the people from Satan's synagogue, who say they are Jews and really aren't but are lying, I will make them come and bow down at your feet and realize that I have loved you. Because you have kept my command to endure, I will keep you safe through the time of testing that is about to come over the whole world, to test those who live on earth. I'm coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one takes your crown. As for those who emerge victorious, I will make them pillars in the temple of my God. They will never leave it. I will write on them the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the new Jerusalem that comes down out of heaven from my God. I will also write on them my own new name. If you can hear, listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches. All right, well, there's a lot here that we're not going to be able to cover today. A lot of these images will show up again and again and again. So we'll get there. Things like the city of God, the New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, that's a direct call all the way to the end of the book of Revelation. And and so there's a lot going on here that is just setting us up for the whole book. I actually kind of, maybe for fun, but I think this is a unique, helpful way to approach this particular letter, is to see the background of what this image here, of having the keys of David, whatever he opens, no one will shut, whatever he shuts, no one will open. And there's, okay, so here's where we're going to go. This is a direct allusion to Isaiah 22. In there, briefly, God is prophesying against the current steward of the city. So Hezekiah is the king, and there's a steward. If you like Lord of the Rings, that's like the Denethor and the one true king of Gondor or something like that. But there's a steward named Shebna who was out for his own gain, and he displeased the Lord. And so in Isaiah 22, Isaiah comes and prophesies against Shebna and says he is going to be hurled violently from his place. And in his place, a new steward is going to be appointed, Eliakim. And this is where this phrase, Eliakim is going to receive the keys of the King David and be able to have the authority to open doors and shut doors that no one else can open. And he really is the mouthpiece and the access point to the king. He's also the one, he has basically as much authority, if just a little bit less, than the king himself. And he's able to do things that no one else is able to do. That the broader context, you can connect this to when Eliakim really takes his stand, is in, not first, 2 Kings 19. So here's what's happening. Assyria has already conquered the northern kingdom. And Assyria, under the king Sennacherib, is now ravaging all of the southern Judah. He is surrounding the countryside, pillaging as he goes, and he surrounds Jerusalem itself with an army. And this is where this all kind of comes to a head. Everything looks like now Assyria is going to wipe out all of Israel, all of the Israelites, just like he already wiped out the north and most of Judah, and he surrounded Jerusalem. And Isaiah the prophet comes in and says, this is not going to end in defeat. God is taking a stand, and Jerusalem will not fall. And sure enough, the Assyrian army miraculously dies off in one night, and the king is called away, and then he's assassinated. You could read about that, 2 Kings 19. And so here, this is the image. Eliakim is the steward, this strong pillar who actually is the voice of Hezekiah, and through him kind of the voice of God, and taking this stand and trusting God. And sure enough, Jerusalem doesn't fall. So why do I say all that? I actually look at this now and read through this. There's a lot here that seems to connect in some ways to this story here. There's apparently a time of testing about to come over the whole earth. Just like Assyria had already wiped out the north, had ravaged most of Judah, is now surrounding this small little town of Jerusalem. It looks like it's going to be the end for all of God's people, but God is saying to the church of Philadelphia, you're going to be like Jerusalem during the siege of Assyria. The testing is coming over the whole earth, but you're going to stand firm. You're going to be a pillar in the house of God. And no earthquake, no time of testing, you're going to withstand all of that. So there's something, I don't know, it feels like there's something going on there. There's also interesting to kind of reflect on Jesus putting himself in the place of Eliakim, the steward to the king. And one, it's a link to the King David, where Jesus is the son of David. He clearly has this authority to open and shut doors. I think that as a connection and an encouragement to the church is down here, look, I've set in front of you an open door that no one can shut. I think to me that seems to be an open door for ministry, for proclaiming the good news of God in whatever kind of suffering and trial the Church of Philadelphia is facing. There's clearly opposition with this so-called Satan synagogue of lying non-believers. These are Jews who aren't believing in the Messiah, who are trying to slander the Church of Philadelphia. But Jesus has set this open door that no one else can shut. They're still going to have effective ministry in the midst of all of this. I can't help but think of one of my favorite verses in Ephesians. In Ephesians, let me get this right, it's 2:18. It says, for we all have access to the Father through Jesus by the Spirit. And it's this great image of it's because of Jesus we all have access to the Father. And in the same way Eliakim has the keys. He's the one that gives foreigners access to the King. Jesus is the one who gives us access to the Father. And there's something wrapped up in there. So there's a lot more. And maybe that was a bit too much all over the place. But in essence, Jesus is calling on this image of Isaiah 22 and saying he is the one who has the keys to open the doors that no one else can shut. And he is the one that can make us a solid foundation in the midst of whatever trials are coming. We can stand firm. And as we emerge victorious, we are the ones that receive the right to become pillars in the temple of God. We didn't get to this crown image, but that's going to come up for sure in the next chapter. So hold on to that one. But for now, maybe reflect on this. What does it look like to trust in Jesus as our access point, as the one who can open doors and allow us to have effective ministry and still have this strong foundation no matter what life throws our way?